So today I'm going to show you how to take advantage of upcoming real estate investment opportunities despite what's going on right now. How do you do that? Just follow my 4 fundamentals investing. Let's get right into it. I'm Michael Blanc. Let's do this. Hi, I'm Michael Blanc. I teach people how to become financially free by investing in real estate. We put out new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe. Let me ask you a question. Are you wondering if now is the right time to invest in multifamily syndications? And if so, if it is the right time, then how should you go about value investing opportunities that may come your way so that you don't lose your shirt? Okay, so I know what you're feeling right now because there's a lot of uncertainty and unrest, and a lot of people are just simply paralyzed by fear. The good news is you don't have to be paralyzed by fear. You can actually take advantage of an amazing opportunities that we're already seeing coming our way, but you have to pay attention to certain fundamentals of investing in real estate. They've been true for forever, but they're really, really true right now. So you got to make sure we're going to go through in those 4 steps right now. And if you follow them, you can create amazing wealth over the next 12 to 24 months. And if you don't, well, let's not talk about what would happen if you don't. So a lot of people are saying the sky is falling. Unemployment numbers are super high. We're in a recession, and they say it's going to get worse before it gets better. What should we do with that information except for crawl up behind, and suck our thumbs in a corner? Is that the right thing to do? No, it's not. Okay. Now, instead, what I see, when I study the numbers, I talk to my peers, I study the numbers, I look at our own almost 2,000 unit portfolio, and I see something different. I see stability, consistency, and I see opportunity. But you got to remember that not everything that glitters is actually gold. Not every deal and opportunity you're going to get is actually a good opportunity. This is why I want to share with you my 4 fundamentals of investing. Follow those 4, and you will be able to discern bad investments from not so good investments. Now, the first 3 are super valuable and key. You have to get those right. But the last one is gold. So stick around till we get all the way into the end of this video. All right, here we go. Let's get right started with the 4 fundamentals investing. Number 1 is to make sure you invest for cash flow from day one. What this means is don't look at any projects that don't have cash flow from day one. Don't look at ground up development. Don't look at super distressed things that are cash flow negative. Look only for investment opportunities that are cash flow positive. Now, here's a great metric to look at. Called it the debt service coverage ratio, or DSCR. Terrible word. That's what the lenders look for. Basically, it's how much money is coming in, and is there enough money to cover the debt service of the mortgage? Again, they're looking for a ratio of 1.25, meaning that they want 25% more income coming in than they're paying out in mortgage. That's the minimum, okay? If you're under that minimum, they're not even giving you a bank loan, so that is also your minimum. The higher that ratio, the more conservative it is, the more cash flow is coming in. So if you see investments at 2.0, that is amazing. That's almost twice as much. Well, it's exactly twice as much money coming in than is debt service. So look for that. Look for cash flow positive on day 1. Okay, rule 2. Conservative underwriting. I'm going to spend a few minutes on this. This is so important. Here's what investors do. They compare one investment A to investment B, and they compare only the returns to each other. But you know what? The sponsor of these investments can do anything they want with these returns. They can make these returns look as good as they want. What you have to ask is not what the returns are. What are the underlying assumptions that they're making? I'm going to outline a few of them right now. Number 1 is the exit cap rate, okay? I'm not going to get into what the cap rate is. If you don't know what a cap rate is, just look at our video archive and find it. But the exit cap rate is super important because it determines how much something can be sold for. The entry cap rate is meaningless. The market cap rate, though, is meaningful. In other words, what is the cap rate right now in the market? What you're looking for in a sponsor is an exit cap rate of at least 0.5% to 0.5% higher than the current market rent. So the question is, hey, in your sales comps, what is the prevailing cap rate that you're seeing? And then you want to see a cap rate at least a 0.5 point higher in those underlying assumptions. Number 2, no market rent increases. Okay, now in this kind of environment with COVID going on, if you see market rent increases of 2, 3, 5% in the next year or so, that is BS. There's no way, okay? No way. You want to see 0 rent increases in year 1, possibly longer, and then conservative rent increases as you go on. Now, rent increases are okay if they're being forced. Forced as in there's renovations, and in so doing, you are elevating the income up to the others in the market that like the nice renovated one. So forced appreciation is good, but not a reliance on market rate increases. Number 3, longer runway to stability. Okay, if you see someone's value add business plan and rents jumping $150 per in the first year, something is not right. Okay, if you want to see a ramp up to stability in market rents over 2, possibly 3 years. So make sure that these rent projections and the value add plan is not overly aggressive. The next conservative underwriting point is higher economic vacancy. Look, in this environment, we don't exactly know what's going on, but while the physical occupancy may not down, the economic one will most certainly be, because people can't pay the rent as much as it did previously. So look for the underwriting where the economic vacancy is at least 5% higher than what it has been historically. And last but not least, look in the underwriting of higher expenses. A great one that sponsors love to skip in year 1, 2, 3 is the real estate taxes. Okay, normally when you buy and close on an apartment building deal, the real estate taxes are pegged to the new sales price. So if someone bought it, 5 years ago for $1 million and you're buying it now for $2 million, that's great for the seller, but the real estate tax are going to be pegged to the $1 million purchase price. So as soon as you buy it, guess what? They're going to double. And if you don't see that in the underwriting, expenses are understated. All right, rule number 3 is a tricky one to get attention to, and that is the debt. Not just any debt or low interest rate debt, but the right kind of debt, given the business plan. Here's what I mean. Someone has a value add deal that calls for a refinance in year 3 and a sale in year 5, and they put on a 10-year fixed debt at super low interest rate. Sounds good on the surface, right? Except for these loans have prepayment penalties. And when you try to refinance or sell before, the prepayment penalties can be in the 6 figures easily and will prevent that sponsor from being able to execute on that business plan. So in that case, you got to use some other loan that doesn't have prepayment penalties, more like a bridge loan, which are hard to get right now, or floater loans and other things. So look at the debt and make sure the debt matches the business plan. All right, the last rule I said is worth gold. And before we get into that rule, I learned this rule the hard way. Back in the recession in the restaurants, when I lost over $1 million, I lost my entire net worth, added a couple $100,000 of debt on top of it, and almost lost my house. Now, I would have lost my house had I not paid attention to this rule, as bad as it was. And that rule is number 4, is never run out of cash. Never run out of cash. Cash is king. Cash flow is king. We said that rule number 1, but cash truly is king, because there can be a giant storm around you, and if you have cash, you can ride it out. Versus if you don't have cash, well, you run out of options. So here's what I mean by cash. Okay, cash reserves when you go in. You want to see at least 10% more reserves above and beyond the capital budget that the sponsor has in reserve. So if you have a capital budget of $1 million, you want to see another $100,000 addition that they're raising in addition to that reserves. Number 2, you want to make sure that they are withholding at least $250 per unit per year out of cash flow, building up a reserve fund. That fund is used for emergencies, but it's also can be used for capital projects down the road. Let's say before they sell, they want to redo the roof for the parking lots. Well, where's that kind of cash come from? It's going to come from this reserve. A lot of sponsors are tricky, okay? They either leave it off conveniently, or they put it what's called below the line. They take it, they show your returns, and then in the fine print they say, oh, well, out of this available cash flow, we're taking reserves out. Well, those aren't really your net returns, are they? So make sure that that your returns are with those reserves taken out. So the good news is you can invest right now. In fact, you should. Okay, if you try to time the market, you're not that good. I'm not that good. By the time you see the market going up, it's already too late. It's already frothy hot. The time to invest is right now. It's right now when there's blood in the streets, okay? The only thing is, though, you got to do it right. You got to pay attention to my 4 fundamentals of investing. If you do that, I strongly believe that amazing wealth is going to be created over the next 1 to 2 years for people who are disciplined and stick to those 4 rules and will take advantage of this amazing opportunity that is in front of us right now. And if you do that, well, you'll be well on your way to financial freedom, to create wealth for you and your family, and to leave a legacy. If you enjoyed this video, I got another one for you right here. Check it out. See you guys next time.